So you know something special has happened if I'm recording a Saturday video, because normally I have Saturdays off from making content, but I had to make a Saturday video with the news that happened on Friday. Obviously, as the title of this video suggests, Hims and Hers is going to be added to the S&P 600 small caps, and we'll talk about that, what that means for the stock. And as well as that, there's a few other news stories that I thought, you know what, we'll talk about them as well in today's video while I'm here. But yeah, obviously really good news. There was a lot of excitement on the Discord when this was announced, and I also saw the notification on my phone come up, and I went on my portfolio and I was like, hold on, my portfolio just hit record highs. What's going on here? And then obviously it was to do the jump of the S&P 600 inclusion for Hims and Hers. So yeah, really it was a good start to the weekend, because it was really late on Friday. This news came out and I thought, here we go, what a weekend this is going to be. So anyway, let's get started. So Hims and Hers had a really good day on Friday. It was up 3%, and then to top it off, we had the after hours move of 5.49%, which put it back up to $18, which is really good, and back close to nearly 200% on my position. And like I said, for me, it put my account to record highs, which is obviously something that you love to see on a Friday just before the weekend. But just following on from the video 2 days ago, we were talking about like this stupid jump or drop in the share price from the Tuesday when the news around the GLP-1 came out, and it just shows you like you can't time the market. By the time this stock opens back up, it's probably recovered nearly almost of that dip, and that's why you can't time the market. All those people that sold out on the stock and panicking, you know, look like idiots, and that's why it's best to, you know, be invested for long term, and obviously you get the rewards in the long term, and you don't have to worry about this up and down nonsense. You just hold it for long term, and as we always say, you know, if the company keeps executing, you will be rewarded. And for example, the reward this time round is the inclusion into the S&P 600. So yeah, as we know, S&P is going to join the S&P, Hims and Hers is going to join the S&P Small Cap 600. I believe it is on Wednesday. Yes, it is. There we go. It's going to join on Wednesday. How important is this for the company? Not major change on like the fundamentals. It's just a statement really, and ownership that will be a lot more attractive for the business. So the first point will be that it's a sign of quality that Hims and Hers has been executing very well, and it's able to join something like the S&P 600 small caps. Obviously, to join the S&P small caps, you have to be a profitable business. A lot different from like the Russell 2000. Sometimes with the Russell 2000, you get a couple of crap stocks in there. Sometimes the stocks can be absolutely crap, but because they go to a quite high market cap, they're included on there. The S&P 600 small caps, as you can see here, which by the way, I don't know why they say S&P 500 small caps. That does just call it the S&P 600. To actually be in there, you have to be quite a quality business that is growing and profitable in a decent size. I like the S&P 600 small caps. It's personally the only index that I own, as some of you guys that watch the videos all the time know. It's the only index I own. I think it's got some cracking companies in there. The new upcoming growth companies more quite often than not, and it's got a great track record of performance. It's outperformed the Russell 2000, it's outperformed the S&P 500, it's outperformed the Russell probably because of those profitable companies, high quality companies, and it outperforms the S&P 500 because sometimes in that small cap space, in the 600 small cap space, you have the companies like Hims and Hers, for example, that are growing very rapidly. And what that will also mean is, you know, it's a statement that Hims and Hers is such a quality business that it's getting included now into the S&P 600, and hopefully that ends up from there stepping up to the 400, the mid caps, and then a future hopeful S&P 500 company. I always said when I bought Hims and Hers and DraftKings, my two largest positions, I do believe they are future S&P 500 companies, and obviously this is a great step for Hims and Hers to be joining the small caps, and hopefully they keep moving up as the company grows. But also what that will do is that we've seen the likes of Palantir, for example. I remember when Uber joined like the S&P 500 the other year. Is now the S&P 600 is showing the signs of being a quality business by joining the small caps, but also all the people that buy the small caps, which is a lot more than like the Russell. The Russell isn't really that attractive to a lot of investors because of, like I said, it underperforms and there's a little bit more crap in there. If you're buying the small caps, you tend to buy like the S&P 600, and because it's a higher quality index, a lot more people actually buy the S&P 600 over like the Russell 2000. And so because there's a lot more people buying the S&P 600, and also all the index funds that track it, they'll have to go buy Hims and Hers. What we should see now is Hims and Hers is a relatively short-term bounce in the stock because of that transition now into the S&P 600. Like I said, fundamentally it doesn't really generate any revenue or profit for the business, but it just shows a statement of how quality the business is. And the there'll also be a few more people that have to buy it now because it's an S&P 600 inclusion. So that's the good thing about it. So nothing major change fundamentally. It's just a statement of actually how good Hims and Hers has done, and it's getting rewarded for that, which is obviously really good. So yeah, it looks very good, and hopefully next time we talk about the Hims and Hers inclusion, we'll be talking about the inclusion into the medium caps, 400, which it'll have to get a little bit bigger from where it is right now, but it can do it. PayPal, I was desperate to make a PayPal video. Another good day for PayPal, just short of the $80 range, 2.65%, year to date up 29%. What a performer this has been. For so long this was the my third largest holding in the portfolio, my new big holding in the portfolio, and it was kind of like underperforming a little bit. It wasn't performing like the likes of DraftKings, Hims and Hers, Mercado Libre, Google, Meta, and I was like, come on, this has got to start kicking on, and now finally the stock has started to reflect the financial performance, which always happens. As long as the company keeps executing on the financials, it will be rewarded. And also then the sentiment around PayPal's changed. It went from being that stock that everybody said, oh, it's a terrible stock, it's a trash stock, it's a value trap, and now everybody's going, oh, actually it's all right, isn't it? And that's because eventually people are emotional over share prices, and they judge the share price and judge the company. When you look at the financials, it should never have got. Sometimes this is the thing, when there's all that fear out there, it sometimes pushes stocks to crazy levels. This is a stock that should never have been $50 a year ago, and since that point it's obviously gone up quite a bit, and it's about time. I still think PayPal's actually still not a terrible value. I mean, 19 times earnings for this company? I think anything under 20 is ridiculously low, and then we'll go from there. So we'll see what happens with PayPal. Watch the Switzerland Group. This had a great move on Friday. Stock was up 5.5% on Friday. Came off some news that they did actually buy a company which was Hodinky, I think is how you say it. They bought this website here, which basically is a company that does like reviews of watches, a media outlet for luxury watches, insurance. They also do a bit of a shop with some like limited collections as well. But yeah, this looks like a really probably smaller purchase for them, but would be a great platform where they can add the insurance business in, they can do the media promotion, and then tie it to some of the current products they have. So looks like a really good tie-up, and the market did seem to like it, obviously because the stock price did really well off that news. So very exciting there. And the last one is Ehang. So there's some rumours going around. I don't know how true it is. I'm going to say I think somebody's just having a bit of fun here with this, and take it with a pinch of salt, and that's what I'm doing. But let's have a bit of fun. The stock was up nearly 20% on Friday. Some sneaky rumours going around, and like I said, I don't think it's true. I think someone's having a bit of fun here. But the rumour is Tesla's having a little bit of a look and going on, and we might buy Ehang. So yeah, that is a little bit of surprise. And I had to look at it and I thought, you know what? The buyout of Ehang would make total sense for like Tesla or SpaceX. Is also the one that's been tied in here, obviously, pretty much, nearly the same company. That's been tied in that they would go buy Ehang out, which I actually thought, and I looked and went, it does make sense. It does make sense that Tesla or SpaceX go buys Ehang. Obviously, as we know, Ehang is the creator of the unmanned passenger, driverless passenger drone or pilotless passenger drones. They're absolutely amazing. As you can see here, if you ever watched the videos of them, they're absolutely crazy to watch. That the technology is there. It's starting that people can fly around the city in these drones here. It's exciting times, and this is the best in the business. This is the market leader technology wise, hours wise, and you look at Tesla and they are like or SpaceX. They are a transport, both transport businesses, both in different ways of space, and obviously one more on the traditional road method, but they are transport companies. And you look and think, Tesla used to be ahead of the game. Tesla was miles ahead of everyone in the EV space, and nowadays they're about, they're kind of with the average Joe, really. They're not really ahead of the pack anymore. And if Tesla wanted to get ahead of the pack, well, unmanned passenger drones is kind of the way forward in transport, and it would give them the edge on the technology by buying Ehang, and it would make sense for them to, you know, get ahead of the pack again by buying Ehang. And realistically, you know, it's a 1 billion market cap valuation. You know, you look at Joby, which is a 4 billion market cap, and Joby can't even get a product that works yet compared to Ehang's that's got the certification, you know, so many hours of flying, and people are using them in places. You know, you could realistically, Tesla could easily offer 3 billion, 4 billion. I think that'd be enough to buy Ehang out. And yeah, I think that obviously Ehang shareholders would take that option, and everyone would make a nice profitability. From Tesla's point of view, you know, they sit on, you know, 300 billion of cash. It would only be like 10% of the cash balance, if that. And profitability wise, you know, it would be something that they make nearly half the profitability for 1 year. I actually looked at that and I thought, I actually don't think there's any truth in this rumour, but it does make sense. This would be a really good move for SpaceX and Tesla, because they would get into the space that they're currently not in. It would put them back into a market leader position, which they haven't had for like a couple of years, and it wouldn't really cost them that much for what could be a big billion pound, trillion pound industry in the next kind of few years. And I thought, you know what? Even though if it's not true, which I don't think it is true, but if it was, you know, I think it would be a really good tie-up for them. So, hey, we'll watch this space anyway. So, that's the video for today, guys, talking about Hims and Hers, PayPal, Watch Switzerland, and a little bit of Ehang rumours out there. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good weekend. I'll see you tomorrow when I do the special 16,000 subscriber special on YouTube. I'll try to do it probably in the evening, so keep an eye out for that one, guys, and I'll see you in a bit.